Okay, I'm about to show you that evolution is tweaks only, just little things that help you to get along in a certain little environment that you happen to be in, but it has nothing to do with the formation of life. Now, creation is, and it's completely zero evidence, not a bit of it, and it's very, very weak-minded and, you know, completely foolish when you think of molecules just bumping together and then, you know, the things that have happened. And I'm going to show you all the evidence that I have to prove this. It's literally, you'll see. Now, the creation is well supported. I have DNA-proven giants, and I will show you those, and there's some of them here right on the, you know, that's a fingertip of a giant. Completely proven, CAT scan, DNA tested. So, here we go. Okay, this is from a video. I'm doing this on the Fair Use Act, just making commentary, not for profit. It's called Icons of Evolution, the Protected Monkey Religion documentary. Now, this is an interesting statement. Now, this is by a guy named Richard Dawkins, Oxford University. And this is the prevailing thought in academia. If you meet somebody who claims not to believe in evolution, that person is ignorant, stupid, or insane, or wicked, but I'd rather not consider that. Now, I would consider that with the academics. They are wicked. They will not let you have your thinking. They charge you exorbitant amounts of money to tell you what you must think, and if you don't think, you're either insane, ignorant, or stupid, or all three, and wicked too. So, I mean, that is a cult. They can't get away with this any longer because I have 100% unimpeachable evidence of the facts that the things that were said in the Bible are literally true. And I will begin with giants. This fellow here his teacher wanted to show some evidence of the fossils they found in China, and they, after 15 years, they demoted him to something like a janitor and put a guy that was an athletics director in charge of biology.
The information regarding evolution is taught uncritically.
You can't talk about...
I don't think this is good science education for the students in that district. And apparently neither did his colleagues nor his superintendent.
Yeah, our job is to teach the adopted curriculum, and that's what we follow.
You're going to learn nothing but what they want to tell you.
Controversy is about whether a science teacher can actually give students evidence that's critical of Darwin's theory of evolution.
We want them to learn a religiously inspired critique of science based on faulty interpretations and non-existent facts.
The separation of church and state could crumble under mounting pressure from those
I could not verbally share any of this information with my students.
The role of a high school teacher is not to be on the cutting edge of research.
I have never seen such intolerance in a political issue.
They cannot speak, or they will be thrown out of the nest.
The icons of evolution, these are examples of textbook evidences that actually distort the scientific evidence.
It doesn't distort it, it shows it, and they won't allow
The
it.
controversy in modern times is not between science and religion, it's between two different interpretations of the same scientific evidence.
No, it isn't. It's between not allowing scientific evidence.
Scientists are supposed to question things. Scientists are supposed to be open to new evidence.
And I'm a scientist. I don't know any evidence against evolution.
That's okay.
She is not a scientist. I have the evidence against evolution, and I can present it, and it will not be allowed by Yale or Harvard or Johns Hopkins University or Texas University or any of them. They absolutely, totally refuse because of this exact mindset. Let's listen a little further.
That's okay for a PBS special, but that's not the real world. That's not what's taking place.
They won't allow a debate to go on. They try to stop it. The reason they try to stop it is they don't think they can win it.
They cannot win it, and that is a fact. Now, I will show you the facts that support what I'm saying. What they have said to you, that is a big bang, everything from nothing, all of a sudden spit out a bunch of dust that was dead and had nothing but hydrogen in it, and somehow neutrons occurred. And after the hydrogen somehow got the neutrons, it somehow clumped back together again. And then it somehow started banging against each other, and it somehow created sparks and this and that, and then they somehow created slime, and the slime somehow created better slime, and the better slime created machine guns and bombs and nuclear war. And of course a lot of hatred. and then some very good restaurants, actually. Now, that's not, if you believe that, you have to be literally insane. You got, to believe that happened, and to see the complexity of the cell, which I will show you right now. All right, this is what's inside of you in every single cell in your body. We just popped into that cell. Now, there's trillions and trillions of these in every single person. And this is what happens inside of them. If these molecules bumped into each other and started doing this as a spontaneous combusting life, they are pretty intelligent molecules. So let's not fool ourselves and think that dead anything can turn into this. I mean, it is the most insane theory that has ever been forced. And it's forced. If you don't believe that this happened all by itself, you are literally a fool. And I don't know what to say. And the fact is, if you don't say that back to these people that tell you, say this to me, and mean it, after you pay them $30 or $40 or $50,000, they will ruin your life. So I mean, this is kind of insane.
Complexity of the cell. Are there systems within the cell that go well beyond Darwinian evolution?
Oh yeah.
Some type of cellular technology that drives adaptation, replication, quality control, and repair? What if these new mechanisms have massive design implications? Well, I say, so be it.
And I say, so be it too. Okay, Exhibit A, mudfossils.com. We've got DNA reports, DNA lab analysis here.
Certain amount, you can only get a certain amount of base pairs normally.
To the lab.
Right, usually 100 to 200 tops, because the DNA is so fragmented because of just the, the degradation, with all the, the years and,
I'm just showing some pictures as it goes. That's a finger. I mean a toe.
That were in that paper that this group had success with, and that seemed like the best option, and they, are a mitochondrial DNA primer that will essentially amplify all types of vertebrates, so, not just human, but any kind of vertebrate.
That's fascia, meat.
And so they were sort of a universal type
tendon enthesis with the rind.
Samples, because we don't know obviously what the samples
to bone and some other things.
The sequence that came back, and it was roughly, for each of these fragments, about 100 base pairs. Matched them up in the database, and they matched with the, the human mitochondrial. There's two regions.
That's a toe.
Of the mitochondria. One is called the D, like the letter D is in dog, the D loop. And
artery vein.
I believe it's for cytochrome B gene. The mitochondria has several different genes that it consists of, but these primers were specific for those areas of the mitochondrial genome. So, so I, considering where we, started a couple months ago, that's, those are nice results to have.
Yeah, that's. So anyway, that was the lab, and I have the DNA report. Hold on one second. The DNA report is also right here. If you go onto the web page here, mudfossils.com, has a DNA report, has all the stuff. There's 3 DNA reports in there. It's all graphic and everything. Then it talks about the different support channels we have here, the Facebook groups that support Mud Fossil University, which is, and this one here, what you should do, go here and do this, Mud Fossil Part 12, find your own in 15 minutes or less. And I absolutely guarantee you. These are mud fossils, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Find your own in a matter of minutes. And virtually every rock you pick up, you're going to be able to find is a mud fossil. It just happens to be the way they work. And what you're going to find is there'll be veins and arteries in rocks. You see, the vein will be black, and the artery will either be clear or... All right, this goes on and on and on. But anyway, I'm going to show you exactly how to prove this to yourself. You go outside and you can find them very, very quickly. I mean, you just walk out and pick up rocks. You'll see them. You'll find them. You won't see it. I mean, I cut this so you can see it, but you'll see them with all the same attributes you're going to see on the outside of the rock. You'll be able to tell. It's very, 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 very easy. And I guarantee you, you'll walk home with a fossil. within 15 minutes, guaranteed. All right, this is a good one. This is on my channel. Well, they're all good. I mean, you know, what can I say? Anyway, this one's called Mud Fossils Part 1, The Story. And that is a human fingertip. It's been DNA tested, CAT scan, everything. There's absolutely no question. That is a human lung. That's been DNA tested, CAT scan. A human fingertip. That is the distal phalanges. They call it the carbon silhouette. It's actually the ferrous oxide, black FeO2 type carbon anyway, it's a iron that bleeds out through there, and that it has the veins and arteries. It's blown right out on the arterial side, and the vein side does not blow out because it has clamps. That's a minor little lung, and that's been, you know, they all been CAT scanned, DNA tested, the whole shooting match. And on this one, here, I'll let it play for a second. Hold on one second. This is a selection of mud fossils. This is as I'm trying to show people about them. Literally petrified parts of bodies of creatures. And there is no dispute about this. This is it's been DNA tested. That is a human lung. It's been DNA tested. You see this? That human lung. You see that pattern right there? It's in human lungs as it is. This is what's called a pleury outside the human lung. It's the coating. The old ancients called it tunica, and that's a human lung that's completely devoid of the tunica all the way down to the lobes of the lung, and that bled literally almost a puddle of blood. I mean, these things bleed like crazy. I'll show you another one. Where do you see this one? Check this puppy out. Gary Evans over in Britain somewhere, over in England somewhere in that area. He found this in a salt mud flat. Now this is a human, or I don't know if it's human, but it's a lung. Now the black part here is the FeO2 blood that comes in to get oxygenated to turn into the FeO3 blood, the red, black and red, and it's everywhere. These are the vascularization and all the tubules that run down into the little the lobes of the lung to become oxygenated, and it just, this is how it works. And this thing, as you can see, is extremely well preserved. I mean, it's obviously, you know, deteriorated to some degree, but you can see how this is what happens. And as it gets invaded more and more, it turns into it's called transitioning into clay and mud and that sort of stuff. But in the meantime, if it's in the correct conditions, packed in mud that is similar in pH to the human body, it's not too caustic, not too acidic, and it is it's compacted, and there's no oxygen, and they just this thing is, I believe this is over 4,000 years old, and that's just how these things happen. They just need to be looked at, and they're being ignored because Yale tells me that's a rock. So literally, honestly, I tell you, I show these things to Yale. Oh, that's a rock. That's all I can say. All right, I'm just going to play this while I'm speaking, but these are some microscopic shots that I do here in the shop, and I'm just letting this roll from a video that I did before. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to confront the people that are denying you to the reality that you should expect. You're paying them a lot of money, and they will not even look at this. Now, I've been working at this for 5 years. I've had this information in front of Yale for a very long time. I took a course at Johns Hopkins and presented this to my professor. He just refused to see it and virtually never communicated with me again. Told me I was completely wrong with the DNA test. Never looked at anything. So it's and now look at this. Look at this thing. This is I'm going to stop it right here. This is what I call the Rosetta Rock. It's a stone that was a toe of a giant. And all of a sudden, these are blood vessels, and that blood vessel is growing something out of there, and I don't know what that is. So I'm looking at that closely. But anyway, what I'm getting at is there's so much going on here that it has to be looked at. Confront your professors, confront your friends, confront people, send them to mudfossils.com. You're not getting the reality that you deserve. Our history is absolutely nothing like you've been told. Absolutely, totally different. And if you don't let mud fossils out loose, then you're just deluded and you don't care about reality. So if you care about reality, go out in your backyard, pick up a rock, and you see it's true. Have a nice day.